What's good everyone, it's Zigzag here, welcome back to another Geoguessr video. And guys, I have a very interesting video today. The concept for the video is very simple. I'm going to be playing a quiz against DerZiggi in which we have to use these wrong guesses from Battle Royale countries in order to guess what the actual country that they were trying to guess was. So as you can see here, we have guesses from 4 different continents: Portugal, Central African Republic, Myanmar, and a bunch of South American rounds. So at this point we have a minute to go and deliberate with ourselves and then come back and explain our guess. We've got a whole bunch of rounds prepared today such that it's going to be a 2-part video. And yeah, quite simple, 1 point per round. Let's jump on over to talk to Ziggy and jump onto this, which is the first round. Ziggy, do you have any predictions as we go in here?
I just have a prediction. I'm going to do very terrible at this because I feel like I can't get myself into that mindset again. Would be easier if I just started the game, I think.
Yeah, Loki, if you played more Battle Royale, it might actually be easier to like remember what people like to guess on the wrong ones. But that is precisely the point. It's going to be interesting. Okay, the time for 1 minute has started and Ziggy is deafened. So I'm looking at this first round. The conspicuous thing here is that we have Portugal, right? So this makes me think, along with the Latin American countries, that it's probably going to be Brazil. But we're allowed to bring up the map here, so oops, oh gosh. So we're allowed to bring up the map here. Unfortunately, I had to sort out some technical issues here, so I didn't actually get time to look around. But I think I would just go Brazil here. I think that's the safe option.
I'm back.
Okay, Ziggy. I had technical issues, so I did not really get time to make much thinking. But I'm keen to hear your answer first, because I have mine in my head. What did you go for?
I'm going to go for Bolivia.
Ooh, okay. And I've gone for Brazil, and I basically based that on the Portugal guess here. We'll see. We also accidentally caught a flash of this before, Zig and I both, so let's see what country it actually is here. And ooh, it was Spain! What? No way!
Oh, that was my 50-50 actually, really? Because they all guess Spanish-speaking countries, and maybe they thought Portugal spoke Spanish as well.
Right. Okay, this actually makes sense, doesn't it?
The amount of South America guesses just confused.
Not to mention Central African Republic was a pretty funny one as well. But okay, that's an interesting first round. I think I've just learned to like widen my perspective a little bit, because that was pretty... I didn't even think of Spain. Okay, but let's head through to the next one, Ziggy. Here is the country set, and I will start the timer as soon as you're ready. Okay, so Australia, South Africa, Peru, and Mexico. This is clearly a dry country. And it should be somewhere in the southern hemisphere. Let's pull up our trusty map here. So Argentina immediately comes to mind here. Just with Spanish speaking, also southern hemisphere vibes, that would make sense. It could be like Botswana or something like that for sure. Mexican kind of Peruvian vibes. Yeah. I'm thinking like Chile, Argentina here, and if not, New Zealand. Because New Zealand, it doesn't often look like Peru, I would say, but sometimes if you get in the green hills, it could look like that. I think Argentina might be the best here, especially with the Spanish-speaking countries. This combination is definitely interesting. I'm not really sure what I'm picking up. It could actually just be Spain again, of course. Yeah, I think I'll go for this country.
It's a wild one. I feel like there's like 2 different people playing, and both of them made 2 wrong guesses, right. Which is on the one hand South Africa and Australia, and the other guy guessed like Peru and Mexico.
Yeah, I mean. Okay, I'll go first this time. My guess is Argentina. I'm a little bit worried. The Argentina guess worries me a little bit because I feel like on Argentina, there's more wrong guesses normally. So maybe it is just like New Zealand or something. I'm not really sure, but I think the dry landscape fits with that kind of vibe. So that's what I'm going for. How about you?
I went for Chile, actually.
Okay, that was my 50-50.
I had the same thing, because I feel like you wouldn't guess Peru and Mexico if you didn't see like Spanish language. So yeah, I feel like one of the players found Spanish language, and that's why he guessed there. I'm not sure how like South Africa and Australia came into the mix, but yeah, maybe the dry landscape.
But let's find out what it actually was here. Oh, Brazil. Wow.
Oh.
This is so interesting. I don't really see how that was possible, to be honest. Like that does not really, like Australia does not really come to mind when I look at this.
Well, we got the continent right this time, both.
That's true. I
guess no right guess.
We can at least hold our heads a little bit higher that time. But okay, 0 points each on that one. Let's head through to the next. Whoa. So here we go. In the next round, we have a round 1 game ender. Ziggy, what are you thinking, my friend, about this one before we get into the timer? Oh, he must already be gone. Okay, so I'll start the timer myself. This is really curious to me. I think that I would be, well, let's reason here. We got mountainous countries. We have a lot of green and mountainous countries. I'm noticing Hungary is missing here. and we have a lot of Eastern Europe that's not Hungary. I'm noticing Romania is there. I think every country that surrounds Hungary is missing. So that could make a lot of sense to me on this occasion. What else could we say? We got a little bit longer left here. Croatia's there. Serbia's there. It seems to be the obvious choice, right? Yeah, I'm noticing every other country surrounding is there. What about Slovenia? Yeah, Slovenia's there. And I think the rest of the countries guessed do make sense for that landscape, unless this is a very strange round of some kind, which it could be. What if it's here? You never know. Yeah, I think that's going to be my guess. Are you there, Z?
Yeah, I'm there. Okay. Sorry, I heard a bit of you, but
that's okay.
Not going to impact my guess.
Let's hear your thought process here. What were you thinking, actually?
I mean, obviously this has to be somewhere in Europe.
Yes.
And so my thought process here was that most of the countries that has been guessed kind of look Western-ish, and I feel like they just forgot that one country exists. So I went with Luxembourg, this one. Just because maybe a beginner doesn't even know Luxembourg exists. Because they guess every country in Western and Northern Europe.
One thing I'm wondering,
I don't know.
Is the order here actually a particular order? Is that like the order of the wrong
That's what I was thinking too. Because that maybe would support it even more, because they guessed Switzerland, Austria.
Yeah.
Is it Austria? Yes, right?
Yeah, it is.
And Germany after each other. So maybe they were in the German-speaking part of Luxembourg.
Yeah. Yes. That's all making sense, to be honest. It is. Okay, well, my guess was Hungary here, just because I immediately noticed that all the countries surrounding Hungary were guessed, and Hungary was missing, so I don't know, just the fact that Hungary has green on its flag and every other country didn't have green, it just immediately popped into my head. I think Luxembourg's a better guess here, but as we've seen so far, things can get very, very random in the silver division, so shall we find out here?
It's very hard to reason.
It's Hungary, let's go. Okay, nice.
Oh.
Take the 1 point up lead. If I could go back in time and make your guess, I may well do that. So that's an interesting little result there. Let's head through to the next one. I'll start the timer immediately, and good luck. Okay, so we have Brazil, South Africa, Guatemala, Dominican Republic, and Nigeria. I sense that we have some kind of car meta here. So let's head on over here. Car meta in South America, right? So Guatemala and Dominican Republic both make sense. Curacao could be an option here. I feel like that's pretty rare to see on Battle Royale, though, on the official Google map. So let's maybe think more so on this side of things. So, I mean, the roof rack car, you'll also see that in Ghana, of course. So maybe the African vibe is there. With Nigeria and South Africa, that can make some sense. Ghana comes to mind. Kenya also can look like this. I think Kenya, also pretty strong here. Actually kind of torn. A little bit torn here, all in all. I think that maybe it's Kenya that looks more similar to these. I'm gonna go for that. Okay, Mr. Ziggy. Okay, so this is an interesting one. I will go first this time. So looking at these countries,
sure. Go ahead.
Immediately what jumped out to me is Dominican Republic and Guatemala both having roof rack, right? And I was kind of like stuck between Kenya and Ghana. That's kind of my main thoughts. There's kind of green countries with the roof rack, so people might not know. As soon as the round ended, Panama popped into my head, but I'm actually not sure if Panama would have even been released when my mods made this presentation for me.
Yeah,
so
that's exactly.
I ended up going for Kenya, and that is my guess. How about you, Ziggy? What are you thinking here?
I had a similar thought process, especially because 2 African countries were guessed, and usually, actually, they have a good vibe for Africa, I would say, newer players, because it actually looks very different. So my first thought was Kenya too, but then had like an idea, maybe something with a roof, like similar, maybe like a Puerto Rico or something.
Ooh, yeah.
But in the end, I had to like go with Kenya.
Oh, let's find out here what it actually is. And it was Ghana. Okay, yeah, kind of the 50-50 there, right?
Oh my god.
They didn't know the Ghana tape, the Ghana black tape there. That's unfortunate.
My prediction was right so far. 0 points.
Well, I think you've had some nice guesses, though. Well reasoned, just unlucky. Okay, so here we go. Another Europe Royale here. And this time we got mountains for sure. Every country on here is mountainous. Montenegro is missing. I'm noticing that. So Slovenia is there. So definitely kind of a Balkan vibe here. Serbia also there. So Montenegro. Yeah, I'm not blind. Yeah, Montenegro is definitely in the mix here. Bulgaria also a strong option in my opinion. I could even see Italy or something working. And Croatia we had. So yeah, I think like landscape-wise, Montenegro is just making a whole lot of sense here, right? Turkey is even possible. Greece we don't have. So there's plenty of possibilities here. But the fact that Albania was guessed a little bit late is a bit concerning, I guess. And it does kind of maybe have a Western vibe with the Austria guess as well. I don't know. I think I'm happy to stick with my thought here, but yeah, interested to see what Z will have to say.
Can't say I have a good guess here. It's Europe again, so it can get pretty wild. Although this time I feel like it has to be somewhere in Eastern Europe, because somebody insta-guessing Slovenia made me think that it has to be like some Slavic language.
Yeah,
they saw.
Sure.
And I'm going through and I'm thinking like, okay, what country did they miss that it could be? So my thought was like maybe it was Montenegro or Czechia, and I'm gonna go with Monty, I think.
I've also gone for the same guess here, although I was kind of thinking maybe more like Greece or Bulgaria, also quite possible, depending on the landscape. But okay, we've gone for the same guess here, let's see. And it was Montenegro. Nice. Good guesses. Yeah. This was probably the easiest one so far, just because all the countries guessed were mountainous, and we had Albania in there. And I feel like people only guess Albania if it kind of looks like Albania. So, that's kind of like it's kind of a niche pick for a newer player to get, Okay, so we are stuck here with 3 different continents. We have Philippines, Indo, and Thailand, mixed with Australia and Chile. This, I immediately, your mind goes to Cambodia here, I think. Cambodia is just an obvious option because Chile and Australia can, maybe in like a very remote circumstance, look a little bit like Cambodia. I can definitely actually see that being the case. Alternatively, I mean, Laos is even possible here. I don't even hate that guess, but I feel like it's harder to confuse Australia with Laos compared to Cambodia. Malaysia. I guess with white road lines, Malaysia's actually a pretty strong option here, especially if Indonesia was guessed pretty soon on. And these are all white road line countries guessed later on, especially as well. I think I'm switching. I think I'm going Malaysia, even though Australia, maybe in the tropical sections, is the only place that can look similar. I feel like that's actually kind of strong.
Okay.
Welcome back, Mr. Ziggy. This was an interesting one. 3 continents represented immediately here. What are you getting from this image?
I feel like there was no clear language visible. Because it's a very wild guess to guess Thailand without language. I'm kind of all over the place here.
Right. So yeah, Thailand alone would make you think Cambodia, right? But the rest of the countries being there actually made me switch to Malaysia myself. And the reason is that both Australia and Chile both using white road lines. Not necessarily something that low-ranked players know, as we've seen from previous rounds, but I felt like that kind of switched me over, especially with Indo being there as well. So that was my final guess. I thought Cambodia would be my second option, though. How about you?
I went for Malaysia as well.
Okay.
I mean, just because I feel like the first player had the right region down.
Yeah, true.
I mean, if this is an order, obviously, like, I don't know. But I feel like the first player just banged out 3 guesses in a row and all of them were wrong.
Right.
That's kind of what I think happened. And then, like, there was another player that was even worse than him. Was not even sure on the continent here. Sorry to say that, but
yeah,
like it was an even worse player.
But then he used
with,
50,
no
50,
clue
and then he made it through.
Because I thought about the same thing with the road lines, but do they even know they use those road lines? I feel like that's a very niche thing to know. I feel like.
Maybe Ziggy, the first guy's like really kind of like a vibes player, and the second guy's like a very like meta knower. So he just saw the white road lines and he started thinking about that, whereas this guy's like, oh, Southeast Asia, I see the oil palms, something like that, Okay, let's find out.
There's a few countries that you can reason for.
Yeah. So Cambodia, and I think even maybe something else in another country.
Laos, maybe.
Yeah, Laos is also possible. And it is Malaysia. Okay, nicely done. That makes sense, I think. Although, we don't have any road lines at all. But I can see the Queensland-Australia connection there. Chile's a bit wild, but Australia does make sense.
Honestly, if you remove like the poles here, then just the house alone could look Australian.
Yeah, totally agree. Okay, so time has started here. And we have Peru and Chile mixed in with Eastern Europe. Even a Malta guess here. I mean, immediately what jumps out to me is Croatia. I feel like this is a really rocky, dry Croatia that has made someone think of the Andes Mountains like the Atacama Desert or something, but it's actually just like all the way south in Croatia or something like that. And so then we could rationalize that with the North Macedonia, I guess, very rocky country. Montenegro makes perfect sense. Albania, so that's the Adriatic vibe. Then we also have a Romania, a Serbia, and a Malta. The Malta makes sense. Romania and Serbia, they don't quite make as much sense for me, but I guess similar languages or similar kind of vibes with the buildings as well. So, okay, what else is possible? If we toggle over to the map here, is there anything else that's kind of jumping out? It could be Greece as well. I don't really mind that idea. It could be Italy. Something like this is always possible. Just, I do think it's this area, and I think the South American guesses make me lean here. Ziggy, what are you thinking here? I'll let you go through your thought process first here.
I think it's my thought process here was that, again, somebody just had like some Spanish language maybe. Ooh. Or I had something very interesting here to think. Maybe they mistook Romanian for Spanish. So maybe we're in a Romanian minority in Hungary.
What?
But I feel like that's wild of a guess. So I just went with something safer. I'm going with the, okay, every country around it has been guessed. So I'm going with, I was between Croatia and Bulgaria, but I'm going to go Bulgaria.
Ooh, okay, bit of disagreement. I'm going for Croatia on this one. I think the reason that we've got Chile and Peru there is because it's quite dry and rocky. And that's kind of reminded one person who's just gone balls to the wall with some Atacama vibes, but was wrong. So that's my guess here. Let's see what it actually is. Oh, it's Italy. I did mention it, but that's a different one. Wowee.
Italy.
So the Peru guess is quite interesting here. That's quite an interesting one indeed.
A lot of stuff is interesting here.
True. What is this fella doing as well? But yeah, we got the blue EU plates. I mean, this is a fairly straightforward Italy round, to be fair. So probably a fairly low-ranked lobby. Any last comments?
I mean, this is what I'm saying. Like, yeah. Next round.
Okay, next round indeed. Oh. Okay. This is kind of fascinating. Let's start the timer here. Good luck, Ziggy. So, US and Madagascar is what we're working with here. How can you at all be sure about this? This is so little to go off of. But the Madagascar guess is surely indicative of something. We're probably on Trekker, and we're probably on some random beach or something like that. I thought about maybe Bermuda being an option here, and of course Bermuda belonging to the UK, right? So that's kind of a thought. Like, it could actually work here. What else could be? Like, random Trekker. What's like a famous place that you just get random stuff? Like, I don't even know what, like, the logic is there for guessing Madagascar. Like, I'm actually so stumped. Costa Rica? Sometimes you get random Trekkers in. I think that doesn't really appear on the Battle Royale map anymore, maybe. That's probably too outlandish. Australia, New Zealand, always possible, I guess. Mongolia? I really don't know. India, maybe? I think I'll just go with Costa Rica.
You have a good answer here.
Okay. Sometimes we have a lot of info. This is not one of those occasions. I was assuming this is probably a track around. Someone's like thought, okay, it could be
same,
like something random in Madagascar, could be some random US island. For that reason, I went Costa Rica here. I don't really have any other good ideas. I don't know if Costa Rica, I don't even know if it's possible in this game mode, but what are you thinking?
It's definitely possible. Like, my idea was also it was a tracker, and they are just inclined to guess Madagascar because it's so abundant in world map. And I thought about the US guess. Maybe they didn't, I don't know. For me,
yeah.
Okay, I'm just gonna say it's maybe like Canada just, and maybe one person was on crack or something and just guessed Madagascar for no reason because maybe there's no clue.
Like, the Canada guess makes sense. It's logical in the sense that you have.
Yeah, I'm also thinking about we only have 2 wrong guesses. So I'm just assuming somebody got it right after this.
Yeah.
And it would be a stretch from going from US to something that specific, like Costa Rica. So I feel like if it was Costa Rica, they would have made a lot of more wrong guesses.
So I think if I could change it right now, I'd go Australia, because I think it's going to be a bit dry. And it kind of looks like the US, but like not really. And so then as soon as people
English,
got there, it was kind of easy.
Maybe.
Yeah. Well, that would be what I'd change it to, but I will stick with Costa Rica because that's what I had thought of in the time limit. So let's see. It was in... Okay. What? How are there only 2 wrong guesses here? This is kind of strange.
Yeah, but it's a tracker.
Yeah,
and you're telling me somebody got this correct?
So maybe maybe it's final 2 and they just ended off the game getting it correct like that.
You also have to take into account there's a 50-50 joker.
Oh,
so maybe it was the final and somebody just pulled out the joker after getting...
The poor person who went Madagascar and US here. We ended off at this stage with 3 points to me and 2 points to Ziggy. Definitely not as many points as I thought at this stage, but you're gonna have to see in the next episode what the final outcome is. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video all the way to the end, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for a really cool one. So stick around, subscribe if you like, and goodbye guys.